You are about to discover the ultra-rare 0.01% secret that most men will never know about attracting women. I assure you that by the time you finish watching this video, you will know exactly how to talk to women, how to get inside their minds, and how to make them eagerly await the next time they see or hear from you. This is you, and this is the girl you'll be talking to. What should you say to her? What should you talk about? And how can you make your conversation flow smoothly? This is the first mistake you can make when you start talking to a girl. When you're speaking with her, don't overthink the topic of conversation or how you're going to speak. Before we get into the details, I want you to first change your perspective on this. I want you to change your internal mindset. When you're talking to a girl, you need to remember that she's just a human being, nothing more. Don't place her on a pedestal just because she's attractive. I know this might sound superficial and like something you've heard before, but it's crucial that you internalize it. From now on, every time you talk to a beautiful girl, I want you to remember me and tell yourself, she's just a human being. The second thing I want you to internalize is that you need to see yourself as being in a higher position while she's in a lower one. Don't worry, I'll explain how you can do this later. But for now, just listen. Now, when you're talking to a girl, her subconscious mind, the instinct that controls love and seeks the right man, is evaluating you to see if you're the right guy for her or not. If you've watched all the videos in this series on how to attract women, you'll know that women are emotional beings who are drawn to what they feel. But in today's episode, we're gonna dive deeper into this topic. Let me explain to you what attraction is for a woman. The single most important and fundamental concept you must understand to succeed with women is attraction. Without understanding how attraction works, you will never succeed with women and dating. There are no exceptions to this rule. Unlike men, women often act based on how they feel, making decisions driven by emotions rather than logic. They see something, feel something, and respond to that feeling. Because their actions are emotion-based, they essentially can't control who they are attracted to and who they aren't. Attraction is a subconscious response that women have towards certain behaviors exhibited by men. Therefore, to trigger attraction, you need to incorporate these behaviors into your personality. But before we dive into the specifics, let me clarify a few facts. 1. Women do not control who they are attracted to. 2. Women do not control who they are not attracted to. This means that attraction happens on an unconscious level, and women cannot control it. Now, I want you to imagine this subconscious part of a woman's mind as a radar. When you start talking to her, it lights up and begins scanning you to see if you're suitable for her or not. This radar is separate from her conscious mind, meaning, if this radar wants you, her conscious mind won't be able to say no. That's why so many women end up falling for the same bad guy who mistreats them and cheats on them. Her logical brain constantly tells her, you've made the same mistake. You'll be mistreated again. You'll be cheated on again. But because she's biologically programmed to think emotionally, and her radar is disconnected from her logical mind, her logic can't control her. Before we move on, I want you to take this fact with you. Any girl in the world, from the moment she is born, has a primary goal in life, which is to find the right man for her. And know that this is not the typical talk you hear from society, but it is the biological truth. A woman could be a scientist or an astronaut at NASA, but even so, her ultimate goal remains finding the right man for her. And this right man is not someone she chooses. Rather, the radar inside her is what seeks him out and selects him. So, from now on, whenever you talk to a girl, know that this radar inside her is scanning you to see if you're suitable for her or not. This radar looks for many things in you. Among the most important is whether you appear to be better than her or if she is better than you. The way it determines this is by observing how you interact with her, whether you treat her in a way that shows you see yourself as better than her, or if you see her as better than you. If you treat her in a way that shows you see yourself as better than her, the radar will understand that you are better than her, and that's when the woman will become yours. I know this may sound confusing, and I know it seems difficult and complicated, but trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand everything, and you'll know how to make any girl, no matter who she is, think about you all day long after your conversation, without even knowing why she did it. So, what should you do? And what should you say to make the radar understand that you see yourself as better than her? Let's start with something simple that many people overlook. Body language. If you've ever tried researching body language, you'll find that some say you should keep your head up, Others say, don't put your hands in your pockets. And others say, sit with a straight back. The first thing I want you to do now is forget all of that. It's all nonsense and won't help you at all. There are 3 points I want you to focus on regarding body language. A common mistake many men make is leaning towards the girl while talking. This often turns her off because you're subconsciously signaling that you're too interested in her. Instead, make it a habit to talk to her while leaning away. This is the first point. The second point is to almost start walking away when she says something you disapprove of. For example, if a girl says, "I'm not really interested," you could respond with, "I know, I'm probably too much for you to handle. You're too much of a nice girl anyway," and then start to walk away as you say it. You'll likely see her either walking towards you or trying to stop you with a quick comment. Attractive girls aren't used to guys walking away like this. They're usually accustomed to being chased. Therefore, walking away will demonstrate high value, which will automatically make her more attracted to you. The third point, and the most important point in body language that I want you to be aware of throughout your life, is this. I'll give you an example to help you understand. Imagine yourself sitting next to an important person, someone with high status. How would you sit? You probably wouldn't sit relaxed. You'd try to show respect and wouldn't be comfortable. You'd be smiling and laughing to please them. But now, imagine yourself sitting next to a friend you've known for 10 years, or sitting next to your brother. How would your body language be? You probably wouldn't care at all about how you're sitting. You might be sitting with your legs stretched out, leaning back and talking to them. You wouldn't even care if they're sitting next to you or not. So when two people sit and talk, the one with the higher value among them is the one who sits comfortably and doesn't care about the other person sitting next to them. This is the mindset I want you to adopt when you're talking to a girl. The first thing I want you to do is sit comfortably in a position that makes you feel at ease and not care about how she perceives you. This idea of thinking about how you should sit should disappear from your mind. If you want to put your hand in your pocket, do it. If you want to take it out, take it out. If you want to lift your leg up, lift it. If you want to lean back, lean back. The important thing is to be comfortable and do what makes you feel at ease. The girl won't care about what you do with your hands or legs while you're talking. She'll only care whether you're sitting comfortably or not. And I want you to apply this mindset in your whole life, not just with girls. Please stop giving so much importance to your body language and what you should do to impress others. Do what makes you feel comfortable. No one owes you anything. The moment you start thinking about what body language you should adopt, know that you're on the wrong path. Please learn to be comfortable. Make peace with yourself and don't care about what she thinks. Sit as you like and do what you want. When you do all this, the woman will feel that you see yourself as better than her. Now, we're done with body language. Let's move on to conversation. How to communicate with her. I'm going to give you a formula that I want you to always remember when you're talking to any woman. 50% of the conversation should be about her and her personality. 30% of the conversation should be about the environment around you or anything else. 20% of the conversation should be about you. Don't worry, I'll explain everything in detail. But before we continue, don't forget to like the video. We want to reach 1,000 likes. So why 50% about her and only 20% about you? Because in any conversation between two people, the person who needs the other's approval is the one who talks a lot about themselves. Imagine you're doing a job interview. The conversation will be about you, your personality, and your abilities, not about the person interviewing you. Because you're the one who needs the job, and they're the one in control. The same thing applies to your conversations with women. The person who talks a lot about themselves is the one who needs the other person's approval. That's why you should talk about yourself as little as possible. You should only talk about yourself when asked directly. Many men, when they start a conversation with a girl, immediately begin by talking about themselves. What they do, their job, their money, or their car. This is the wrong approach. When you talk too much about yourself, you're subconsciously signaling that you need her approval or validation. Remember, the goal is for her to seek your validation, not the other way around. So talk about yourself only when she asks questions or when it's naturally appropriate, and even then, keep it brief. Don't reveal everything about yourself too quickly. The 50% of the conversation that should be about her is crucial. Most people enjoy talking about themselves, and women are no exception. When you ask questions about her life, her interests, or her thoughts, You're allowing her to open up and feel more comfortable with you. But here's the key. Don't ask questions like you're conducting an interview. Instead, ask questions that lead to deeper, more meaningful conversations. For example, if she says she enjoys traveling, don't just ask, "Where have you traveled?" Instead, follow up with something more engaging, like, "What's your favorite travel experience and why?" Or, "What place left the biggest impact on you?" This type of questioning makes the conversation flow more naturally, and it shows that you're genuinely interested in her as a person, not just as someone you're trying to impress. Now, 30% of the conversation should be about the environment or external things. This could be anything from the place you're in, the event you're attending, or even something happening around you. It helps create a connection between you two that isn't solely focused on her or you. For example, if you're at a cafe, you might comment on the atmosphere, the music, or the people around you. This keeps the conversation light and helps ease any tension that may arise. The last 20% is reserved for you. When it's time to talk about yourself, share things that are interesting, but not in a bragging way. Don't list all of your accomplishments at once, but mention them casually as the conversation develops. If you have a cool hobby, like photography or playing an instrument, mention it in passing, but don't dwell on it. Let her ask follow-up questions if she's interested, and be sure to respond with enthusiasm, but humility. Here's something very important. When you're talking to her, maintain control of the conversation. That doesn't mean you dominate the conversation and don't let her speak, but it does mean you guide the flow. When the conversation lags or takes a dull turn, bring it back to something more engaging. If she's talking too much about something boring or negative, gently steer the conversation in a new direction. Now let's talk about flirting, which is essential in creating that spark of attraction. Flirting isn't just about giving compliments, it's about teasing, banter, and subtle hints. The goal is to create an environment where she feels comfortable, but also a bit challenged. For example, you could lightly tease her about something she says in a playful way, like, "Oh, I bet you're one of those people who always orders the same thing at a restaurant, aren't you?" Or, "You don't seem like someone who'd be into that." This playful banter shows confidence, keeps the mood light, and prevents things from getting too serious too quickly. But be careful not to overdo it. Too much teasing can come off as rude or disinterested. Balance is key. Another essential part of flirting is subtle physical contact. As you talk, you might lightly touch her arm when making a point or playfully nudge her. These small touches, when done right, help create a physical connection that can enhance the emotional connection you're building. Before we wrap up, let's recap some key points. 1. Don't talk too much about yourself. Keep the focus on her and the environment. 2. Ask open-ended, thoughtful questions that lead to deeper conversations. 3. Use body language that shows comfort and confidence, not insecurity or neediness. 4. Flirt with playful banter and light teasing to create chemistry. And last, guide the conversation but make sure it feels natural and balanced. By applying these techniques, you'll not only capture her interest, but also create a deeper, more meaningful connection that makes her want to see you again. It's not about using tricks or manipulation. It's about understanding how attraction works on an emotional and psychological level. Now, go out there and start practicing these techniques. You'll notice the difference right away. And remember, confidence is everything. If you believe you're the kind of guy who deserves the attention and affection of beautiful women, they will start to see you that way too. Good luck. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and comment your thoughts below. Watch the recommended video on the screen. Thanks for watching.